Ukraine caught Belarusian agent RE-handed.
Huge news coming out this morning.
Breaking news, everyone. It is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026, and the headlines are absolutely exploding.
And this isn't just some minor story.
No, not at all. This isn't about a spy getting caught in some dusty basement. We are talking about a massive attempted breach right at the heart of Ukrainian intelligence.
A breach that was years in the making. And it involved players you would just never suspect.
It's a window into modern hybrid warfare, isn't it? The information war is just as active as the kinetic one.
Arguably more complex in some ways.
Absolutely. And listen, if you want to stay ahead of all this, you need to subscribe to Defense Reports right now.
We're going to keep you covered.
We are your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. You do not want to miss what we have coming. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maria.
Join us in the latest Deep Dive by Defense Report for a sharp, no-nonsense breakdown of the latest in global defense news, military technology, and strategic developments. And today?
Today is a big one.
Today we are going to cover the detention of Ina Kardash.
And that is a name that I think is going to be studied in counterintelligence academies for a very long time.
It really is, because on the surface, she was a journalist, she had credentials, she worked for major outlets.
She was at the press conferences asking questions.
But yesterday, the SSU, the Security Service of Ukraine, and the GUR revealed she has actually been a KGB operative for over a decade. And she wasn't just taking notes. She was trying to get inside the main Directorate of Intelligence, the GUR itself.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're not just going to read you the headlines. We need to peel back the layers here.
We need to look at the tradecraft, the operational game Ukraine played, and what she was really after.
And the secrets she was hunting are, well, they're geopolitical.
And trust me, the layers are dense. We have this bizarre Chinese angle. Why was a Belarusian spy told to watch Beijing's diplomats in Kyiv?
That part really stood out. It suggests a level of paranoia in that alliance we don't always see.
And what about this claim of biological control? She actually said she could beat a polygraph test because her fingers don't sweat.
The hubris is just off the charts. We'll get into that.
And finally, the operational game. How Ukrainian intelligence knew about her for months and used her to feed lies back to Minsk. This story connects everything, so let's unpack this. Who is Ina Kardash?
Okay, so let's start with the mask. In intelligence, your legend, your fake history is everything.
It has to be believable.
Exactly. So Ina Kardash is 35 years old, a Belarusian national, and on paper, her profile looks like a typical, media professional.
Where did she study?
The European Humanities University in Vilnius.
Which is an interesting detail, isn't it? EHU is seen as this bastion of liberal, pro-European thought for Belarusians who oppose Lukashenko.
It's the perfect cover. It gives you instant credibility with the West. People assume you're one of the good guys.
She builds this resume typed by a few other companies.
Right. But the timeline gets really critical around 2020 after the huge protests in Belarus.
The crackdown after the stolen election.
Exactly. Kardash moved to Ukraine right after that.
Yeah.
Her story was that she was a political exile, fleeing persecution.
But in reality?
In reality, according to the SSU, she'd been working for the Belarusian KGB since 2015.
So the whole exile story was just her insertion method. She wasn't running from Lukashenko, she was running for him.
That is the reality of the trade.
Yeah.
And she landed a job at the TV channel 112.
And for anyone who doesn't remember, 112 was linked to Viktor Medvedchuk, Putin's man in Kyiv. That seems a little obvious, doesn't it?
It was her entry point, a soft landing. But where she went next is what's truly alarming. From 2021 to 2024, she worked for Interfax Ukraine.
Wow. And that is a huge leap. Interfax is a major mainstream news agency.
It is. If you have Interfax credentials, you have access to everything. Government buildings, press briefings.
And those off-the-record chats where officials think they're talking to a friendly reporter, that's the danger.
And she knew it. The SSU released audio intercepts, and her attitude is just pure arrogance.
I saw that in the transcript. What was the exact quote?
She says, "It's just that the role of an intelligence officer under the guise of a journalist suits me better. That's the truth. I'm very good at obtaining information."
That is chilling. It's weaponizing a profession that is built on trust.
And she was being paid well for it. A €3,000 monthly retainer, plus bonuses. And this was approved by the highest leadership of Belarus.
So Lukashenko's inner circle signed off on this personally. So she's embedded, she has the cover, she has the money. What was she hunting?
That was the primary objective. the most dangerous one.
Mm.
She wasn't just observing. She actually applied for a job in a staff unit of military intelligence.
You're kidding. Applying for a job at the GUR while you're a KGB
I
agent?
mean, talk about walking into the lion's den. It's high risk, high reward. It's called penetration.
The mole scenario.
It's the worst case scenario. An enemy agent inside the building.
But she had other targets, too.
What else?
She was tasked with identifying Belarusians and Russians fighting for Ukraine.
Groups like the Kastush-Kalinowski Regiment. Precisely. The Lukashenko regime is terrified of these volunteers. They see them as an armed opposition that could one day come home.
So she was hunting for names to harass their families back in Belarus.
It's leverage. It's psychological warfare. But here's where it gets really strange.
The Chinese connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
The aha moment. She was ordered to build contacts with the Chinese embassy in Kyiv to find out their private views on the war.
But wait, aren't they all partners? Russia, Belarus, China, the no limits friendship?
In the world of intelligence, there are no friends, only interests. Minsk and Moscow don't fully trust Beijing. They want to know if China is hedging its bets.
So they're desperate to know if China is talking to Ukraine behind their back.
Exactly. And using a Belarusian journalist gives them a layer of deniability.
Or so they thought. Wow, okay, so she's got all these targets, but the best part is the Ukrainians were watching her the whole time.
This is a textbook operational game.
Yeah.
The SSU and GWAR security didn't arrest her the moment they ID'd her. They let her run.
For months. Now, some people might ask, isn't that incredibly dangerous during a war?
It's a calculated risk. If you arrest a spy on day one, you only catch the spy.
You cut off one tentacle.
Right. But if you watch them, you learn what the KGB wants to know,
Yeah.
and you can feed them lies.
The classic double cross.
For months, the GUR fed her disinformation disguised as secret data. So the KGB in Minsk thought they were getting gold.
But they were actually getting a script written by Ukrainian intelligence. She thought she was the hunter, but she was the bait.
I also saw that weird detail about the deleted post. The GUR put up a notice about the arrest, then took it down.
Yeah, what do you make of that?
Probably just signal management. Maybe they wanted to wrap up another lead before going fully public. But eventually they did, with videos, intercepts, everything.
Speaking of which, let's talk about her tradecraft, how she operated.
Well, the SBU documented a trip she took to the EU during the invasion. Her handler wanted a face-to-face meeting.
How did she manage to leave the country?
She faked a medical need, an examination. They abuse humanitarian systems.
And once she was there,
Strict tech hygiene. She bought a new smartphone, a disposable thim, just for that meeting.
a burner phone.
Yep. And the handler's order was explicit. Reset to factory settings and just accidentally break it after you're done.
Oops, I dropped my phone under a bus. Classic spy novel stuff.
It shows they were worried about forensics. But all that caution goes out the window when you get overconfident.
Which brings us to the polygraph. This part is just, it's almost funny.
It was pure hubris. In the intercepts, she tells her handler, "My fingers don't sweat in principle. My heartbeat is weak."
She thinks because she has dry hands, she can fool a machine.
She literally thought she was biologically built for deception. She said, "I understood sooner or later that I would have a polygraph and I'm ready for it."
That kind of narcissism seems to be a job requirement.
And it's often what gets them caught. She completely underestimated the SSU.
Now, she wasn't working in isolation, right? This feels like part of a bigger pattern.
No, she has a history. She was connected to a man named Vasil Siamashka.
The cameraman.
Yes, a notorious figure. Back in 2017, he was involved in setting up a Ukrainian journalist, Pavlo Shoroyko, who was then jailed in Belarus.
So she was partnered with a guy who specializes in framing journalists.
It shows a long-term pattern of using these media couples for espionage. It's a KGB Bonnie and Clyde.
And this isn't the only Belarusian agent they've caught recently.
Not at all. There was the Volyn border agent, the Kiev energy spy. It's a constant stream.
It really paints Belarus as an active aggressor in the intelligence war.
That's the key takeaway here. The Belarusian KGB is acting as a proxy for Russian intelligence. They take on the political and diplomatic spying.
While the Russian GRU and FSB focus on bomb targets, it's a coordinated assault. So where does this leave Anna Kardash now?
The game is over. She's in custody, charged with espionage. She's facing 15 years in prison, plus confiscation of property.
A career built on lies ending in a cell. And this is, we have to say, a major victory for Ukraine.
A huge victory. They protected the GUR, they protected the identities of foreign volunteers, and for months, they successfully misled the enemy.
It's a masterclass in counterintelligence. But it does leave us with some lingering questions.
It raises a big one for everyone listening. If Russia and Belarus are so paranoid that they're spying on their Chinese allies in Kyiv, what does that really say about the fragility of their entire alliance?
It suggests the foundation is much, much shakier than they want us to believe.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, Ina Kardash was a journalist here for years. How many other journalists or consultants in Western capitals are actually just lieutenants in the KGB waiting for their orders?
That is the thought that keeps counterintelligence officers up at night. And it should keep all of us vigilant, too. Well, on that note, that's a wrap for this deep dive.
You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex and Aria, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry.
It's a complex world out there, and we are here to help you navigate it. Make sure you hit that button.
Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports.
We'll catch you next time.